Hello, I am NCT 1870 Scarletta. You can just call me Scarletta, and welcome to Into the 212, where we grab random members of the unit off the streets, shove them in the recording studio booth, and then ask them a bunch of questions about themselves or something else, for that matter, related to them. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Dead. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Red Dead.
Hello, I am Second Lieutenant 9931 Dead.
I'm happy you're here, Dad. It's been a long time waiting. I have here a set of questions for you here on this little paper. No, I dropped it. Don't worry about it. Uh, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Well, more than a few actually, and then we're going to see what happens from there. Understand?
All right.
So, Dad, who are you?
Uh, I'm dead. It's pretty much like sums up. I don't know. I'm just me. I lead Shadow Platoon. Which is the third platoon that we opened up in the unit. I've done tons of things within the unit. I've been head of admin department for 4 years now. I used to lead the lore team within GCD. I was actually part of the website team of the original PR department way back in 2018. And yeah, I've just been a longtime member of the unit, just floating around, helping out where I can.
The admin team. That's like a lot of paperwork and everything, right?
Yeah, it's we handle a lot of most of not most we handle all attendance in the unit. We track members joining, members leaving. We remove, promote people, demote them when necessary, handle all the back end stuff just to make sure that attendances and people's ranks are being updated on the roster.
That sounds very important, Dad. Paperwork for military things that makes everything go round and round. But personally, I would hate to be doing all that.
That's fair.
So, what brought you to the 212?
Uh, Back in the day, I used to watch a lot of like Gmod RP videos, like 2017, 2018. And then one of the videos I stumbled upon was by a YouTube channel called Sir Nerd in the unit. He was known as Techie. And this was like 2018. He had recordings of the super old training back when there was a training corps. So basically, uh, pre 2018, early 2018, late 2017, when the unit was just getting started. The 501st, 212th, and a few other defunct units had basically one unified training where you would go like do your training at the end. It was kind of like it was like a choosing ceremony where it's like, okay, like now go off and join the 501st or the 212th or like one of these other two units. And he recorded like the entire thing of that and showed off like the highlights. It was like, your average Gmod kind of highlight video, except it was Arma. And then I started watching some of his other ones, like it's this really good composition one that uh has like they were storming a space station. It was so like super cool that I was like, I own Arma 3 already. I used to play with my friends, so then I was like, I love Star Wars, so fuck it. Why not? Let's get in it.
So, all the units were together at some point? They were just kind of like in some kind of commune?
Uh yeah, it was like a hippie commune where basically I did not go through that iteration of training. But I've seen recordings and like seen the screenshots of it where like ancient lore fucking they would everyone would join like this server. They'd all go through the same training. It was like the same basic training for these four units, and then after is when they would like do their own individual like separate training and kind of where the units had their own identity. But everyone went through the same like, for lack of a better word, basic. But I hear those classes were fucking like took ages, like 5-6 hours, because like in Techie's video I want to say there were like 20 cadets going through the class, like upwards of 20. I'd say more reasonable. I feel like I'm over exaggerating. Probably like 10 to 15, but still a lot of fucking people to get through a class.
That sounds really cool, actually. Because for us, I've been through the training process twice personally. Back before they got rid of all like the SWATAR stuff. We had like the cadet clone armor. I was back during that time before I fucked off and disappeared off the map for like 2 years or something. But you know, we only have like at most what 6 guys for our trainings.
I think that's the cap, something like that.
Do you know why the units are like split or anything, or were you not around for that kind of lore?
Uh, they never particularly split. They were all, like I said, each had their own individual identity outside the training. I know the training got axed because it would get like super toxic with like it's essentially you're seeing like out of these 20 dudes, like File First and 212th would get like the most recruits because they were the two like most well-known units in lore. People want to join the File First or the 212th. They don't want to join like the other smaller units. Uh, not to like, not necessarily for like any fault of the units, but it's like the name draw, the name appeal of like these big hard hitter units. So I think it was just kind of decided it's like we're not benefiting the most we could, so separate our trainings, which is honestly for the best considering how like differently everyone ended up being.
Yeah, that does make the most sense. I didn't know there was all like that old lore.
Yeah, there's like I wasn't around for most of it. Like I was like South, Charger, I think even Jack, Donnie, Legacy, all of them were, the I believe they were all around for a portion of it. Like Swap 1.0 had a bad, like super bad memory leak apparently that made like playing on servers terrible. And there were uh just like a variety of like scuff more so than we have currently. Where it's like the clone trooper armor wasn't even a thing. Uh, we used repainted orange, I want to say. I don't even know if they were retextured, to be honest. But we used stormtrooper armor for a little bit when the unit first started out. Like I've seen old pictures and videos of these like jank ass, like can see every vertice stormtrooper armor. But yeah, the like old unit lore is hard to come by now. A lot of the old members have left, and it's just like back then the unit was just wild, like organizationally and whatnot.
Yeah, I can only imagine having a bunch of stormtroopers running around claiming to be clone troopers. You know,
Yeah,
all covered in like orange paint. It's like, no, I'm for the Republic, guys, not the Empire.
reliving the glory days.
Yeah, back in my day, we had these guys called Jedi. Now we have these little nerds called Sith. Okay, so you have been around for a while, and clearly you have done quite well for yourself, as we can see, Mr. Second Lieutenant guy. So, what brought you to the position you are in today? Did anyone or anything inspire you? Help you along your journey?
uh, I don't know if I'd say inspire. Help along the journey. Big one was South. South, ever since I first joined the unit, South was a corporal, if memory serves correctly, at the time. He was the one who did my basic training, and him and I were just like we clicked and vibed. I ran in his team for quite a while before I fell off for a few months from doing some real life personal things, and then when I picked it back up, South was always kind of there. It I kind of fell into leadership. I used to have a very modest attitude about things. Like I would be very much so like, oh no, I don't want to do leadership. Like it's not for me. Like, and then I take team leading spots everywhere I could. Every skirmish I'd go to, main op opportunity, I'd be a team leader. But I actually got passed up for corporal one time. Uh, I found this out later after I became an NCO. They were talking about promoting up corporals, and because I was being like, oh, super modest about it, like, oh, I wouldn't do like good in the position, blah blah blah. Even though I wanted the position, it was it, it got brought up like, oh hey, like how about Dead is are we looking at him for corporal? And then South was like, oh nah, he doesn't want it. And then lo and behold, like I did, but I will say if you want a certain rank in the unit, don't be shy about it. It's not like greedy or anything. Otherwise, that shit could happen to you. Like,
Oh yeah, you can't be pensive about those things. You gotta grab it by the throat, and just fucking yeah, shake it around and take it for yourself. Bite into its fucking jugular or something. You can't be all like, man, I kind of want to be a leader, but I don't know if I'd be any good at it. But I think the rank would be pretty cool. But the responsibility, oh Lord God, I don't think I can handle it. But
yeah,
please promote me. But
I would say like definitely try out every like if you're uncertain, try everything out. But once you find something that you want to do in the unit, like it's much different than when I was coming up in the unit. We only had one platoon. We would like try to ham fist everyone we could into a main op. You show up, you're getting a spot. We'll figure out a place for you. We were running standard 3-man squads. Like we were running or 3 fire team squads. We were like running deep, and like the server was like chugging like super hard. Uh, but like now, like spots are obviously more limited. You have to kind of take the opportunity where you can. Uh, I hold a bit of a controversial opinion in the unit. I know some people are very attached to their squads and stuff and like, "Oh, I only wanna have movement in that squad." But, like, realistically, you gotta strike when the iron's hot. Like, the, if an opportunity presents itself, take the opportunity. If you do not enjoy that position, the unit is flexible enough to where typically someone leaving a team lead position or a leadership position somewhere, someone's always looking for those spots. So I encourage anyone to like seek out what sounds interesting. That's the biggest thing. Like I've always like once I latched onto leadership, I've never like nothing quite captures my attention like leading or doing rifle stuff. I'm not really like respectfully to detachments, not really interested. I'll, I'm I'm always like I want to be on the ground, either shooting or on the ground, like leading guys.
of course, you know, personally, myself, I'm in Spirit One, 1-1 with Pupa and all that. You know, I've kind of started off in there. So and I've worked my way up to the 2IC position, and to just kind of leave that position, I feel would be kind of spitting in his face. Sure, maybe he wouldn't feel that way, correct? But it's how I would kind of view it. Because someone that takes you into their home and they're like, "Hey, here's my couch. Make yourself comfortable. There's food in the fridge. Drink whatever the fuck you want. I don't care." And then you do so, right? You take the little hospitality and stay in their home for a few months, and then all you get like a new opportunity, right? And they just say, "Hey, man, thanks for all the stuff you did for me." And once you finally get into a position where it's time to start, paying off all that shit they did for you, you just say, "You know what? Fuck you. I'm leaving."
That's like one way to look at it, but like the way I see it is like for example, I was promoted up to corporal under Ghost 2, which was led by Badger. Ghost 2 would eventually break off and become Spirit 2. So little like known lore, Badger's been a sergeant for so long that I was one of his corporals. And like the if I had just waited for Badger to like shift out of Ghost 2, like you know, I would have been there for ages. Like I wouldn't be here. Like when Ghost 1 got vacated, and they were taking opportunities for Ghost 1, I was or they wanted to promote me up. Like I wasn't gonna deny uh squad lead spot because I've been aiming for squad lead. So I'm very much for about mobility in the unit, going to what role you really want. So if you want to be a team lead, but you want to do it specifically under a person, more power to you waiting out that spot. But like for me personally, I want to go where I can do what I want to do the most. So like for example, the person, one of the people who helped make ARF back in the day was my second in command of my team. He was my 2IC, and he was like, "Hey, is it cool if I go and leave?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do not care. Like, go if this is what interests you in the unit. I'd rather like I'm not gonna stop you from going and like doing what you aspire to do." I very much have a I I always say that I do my best in like the role or like in the spot that I'm filled in for. But if something more interesting does come along, so for example, when we were talking about opening up the platoon now known as Shade, uh, depending on what we had a variety of different loadout, for lack of a better word, or compositions for it. If that was a more interesting composition, if that composition piqued my interest more than the mechanized platoon of Shadow, I would have transferred as long as I could make the times and stuff. Like, I very much am like, I all my guys under me are solid. Like, I love Shadow Platoon. Like, I helped build it up from like I was the first sergeant major of it, and now second lieutenant of it. But end of the day, like I want to go where what's going to keep me interested and what's going to keep me hot. Like I I still like the mechanized gameplay, but if something like if we do some like wacky platoon idea that I really want to try, I'm more than happy to transfer over.
Oh yeah, I agree completely. And speaking of how much you love your boys, I'm aware that you are the commander of the 212's third platoon, which, as you said before, is Shadow. Now, what are your thoughts of your people exactly? What are responsibilities are associated with your role? And how do you feel about your role, your position?
I'm pretty happy with my position overall. It basically I just need to maintain the platoon, make sure that we have billets, talk to my squad leads, see what's happening in their squads. If we have a mass exodus of like I don't know, like let's say 3 people or like a whole fire team leaves and switches platoon, then I have to investigate, okay, what's going on? Like why did your squad just empty? Like what can we do to fill it faster? And excuse me, the I say like the biggest challenges are like billeting. Like while everyone like wants and needs billets, I don't think Shadow has the hardest time. I think personally because I'm a degenerate and I don't sleep, Shade would be harder to fill for me because it's like what noon Eastern. But I think Shadow is still kind of a difficult place to fill. So it's always a challenge to like have people who are willing to basically forego their dinner on a Friday evening because it's around dinner time off on like the end of the week for most people. Like if you're working a 9 to 5, you're getting off like shortly before or shortly after Shadow Platoon steps off. So it's like it's a bit hard to get people. Sometimes our waiting room is jam packed, and other times it's empty. And I'm like, where everyone go? Like skip dinner. Come on.
Of course, I mean, if you're not going to prioritize the unit over your personal life, then what are you even doing here?
Honestly.
You might as well fuck off. So, dead. You're dead. What's up with that?
If you want the exact origins of the name or the bullshit ass lore name.
Please, dead. Spill the hot goss. We're dying to know.
The year 2011. I'm like 10 years old. Signing up for Roblox. I'm generating random names using like the keyword dead because I was edgy even back then. Suddenly Roblox suggests me a name. Dead 9931. And ever since then, for well over 10 years now, uh, it has been some variation of Dead 9931 or something having to do with 9931, Dead 9931, Death 9931. Uh, it's just I've had this username since I was a little kid, and anywhere I can use it, I will. And it's just kind of been adopted as my default at this point.
So you would say the rumors aren't true.
The rumors about me being dead.
Well, the rumors about you being a lifeless corpse, just up day and night slaving away for the unit, maybe revived by some kind of dark magic by the hands of Donnie, something along the lines, you're kind of involving some kind of ritual of sorts. I don't know. I wasn't spreading any rumors or anything personally. I'm just, telling you what I heard. I got lots of little birdies who whisper into my ear.
I mean, that's all true. It's also like the life force that keeps me running is sustained by admin department. So when we do the recruit purge every 3 months, all of their time in the like potential cumulative potential time in the unit gets fed back into me to keep me powered.
That explains so much.
Yeah,
You have no idea. So, are you like fueled by any like pain or sorrow that is caused by the admin department? Like, surely paperwork isn't the most fun thing in the world.
it's not, but it's just easy.
Easy food for you?
Yeah, but at this point, admin department, when I took it over, the previous member who was head of admin, so in admin, it was me and like three other people originally. And then the previous head was like, hey, I'm leaving the unit, dead, you're in charge. And command at the time was like, I guess, like, this is your trial run, dead. Like, we'll let you know if you get the full head. So I just took over admin for from then on. It was just kind of dropped into my lap and really not given a choice. But back then it was a lot. It was easier and harder. Our I want to give a lot of credit to South for the roster. South has done incredible things for the unit, and the roster being one of them. Uh, it has so much automation. Granted, we have changed the bones of it, but it all has been built off of the original ideas that he had. So South had already had the roster all set up fine and dandy, and it was easy to a point because we only had one operation. That one operation housed the entire unit, so it's like it wasn't too difficult for me and three others. Then we got more people, and naturally we had to expand. And I was given the role officially, and then yeah, I've just held on to it ever since.
Well, naturally, I mean, when a man is offered head, he does not deny. So, what is your opinion on how things are going in the 212? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they okay? Just kind of neutral? Is there anything that can be done better?
Mm, uh, I think things are going fine in the 212th. As I said, like it was the 212th was when I first joined a lot more disorganized. I hold a lot of nostalgia for it because like it's just when I was coming up in the unit, but I would never want to go back to it. Like it's everything's so much more organized now, but I just, you know, that was when everything was still fresh and new to me. Um, Overall, I think the unit is like going in a really like good direction. Uh, there are I can't think of anything particular currently. There are things that always like need to be changed or like suggestions that we don't see from or not that we don't see, suggestions we take in from the suggestion box that we talk about during our NCO meetings and our an update or start to work on things in order to get it. The biggest thing is like a lot of stuff we do takes a lot of time, and uh, it like it does seem slow for internally and externally, like, if we say we're changing something, but it's just because we don't wanna half-ass a rollout of any changes. We wanna try and make it as comprehensive as possible. But, like, overall, I think the unit's in a good spot. This, most recent GCD campaign is probably one of the, best ones that we've ever had. The, war room is a lot more engaging. The side operations that they're now hosting are, like, phenomenal. Banshee recently had a side op that was absolutely insane and let us gain so much ground for the, campaign. I think I think the unit's in a good spot. There's always things we can change, and you know, uh, I may not always see them, but people have suggestions. Suggestion box is always open, and we do read them in every meeting and kind of just look over them.
Okay, okay. It's nice that the word of our people is taken into consideration by top brass. Our horrible, pitiful cries are not gone unanswered.
Is that the cries of a CR?
Yeah, it is. You poor motherfucker. Now, dead. I'm aware that you are pretty high up there in the chain, correct? And you don't have to say anything, right? I'm sure there may be some things that we're not allowed to know. We're just stupid, illicit plebeians, not cool officers like you, right? Now, you most likely have access to a bunch of information many would not otherwise know. Is there anything currently in the works that the community can look forward to? That you can divulge anyway.
Mm, we're not off the top of my head. Uh, Actually, I believe it was. Let me double check that it was already announced to the unit, but I'm like 60% certain it was. Yes, it was. Uh, I will not leak more than what has already been announced, but Fob Backwater, uh, we up in SNCO and Command Company, we have all seen it, and it is a very cool project that uh, I'll let PR team speak more on when they begin to release it. But the project is, or PR and liaison, I believe, liaison teams handling it. Uh, a very cool project. I will be the first to admit that this kind of project I've always thought was kind of I didn't really get, but I think they have proven my uh, hesitations wrong. As I think that uh, the version of this will be a lot better than I had ever anticipated. But outside of Backwater, just a few minor things. I myself am currently working on a suggestion, something that was posted up in suggestion box uh, that regards some issues with clarifications about things. And next meeting, we should be able to release that to the public. But it's kind of just boring stuff. Outside of, I think Backwater is the most what's the word? Most exciting thing that's in the mix.
So, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but what exactly, hypothetically, if I were to ask you what FOB Black Backwater was,
Yes.
what would you say?
Uh, it is going to be a fun experience for the members of the unit.
I'm going to presume that's all you can say.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Now, Dead, you have been here for a very long time, and I'm sure that you've experienced many experiences that were experienced, correct?
hmm
Now, what is one of the best moments you have ever experienced in the 212 ever period? Like, this shit is like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. Super up there, top one, hands down, best experience ever. Mind blowing experience.
So the two come to mind. I think the one that comes to mind the most is the one that I have on my helmet. My helmet has a part on the cheek that says "duty or death," and this is I have a belief that like even members of the unit who say, "Oh, I don't role play," like we're role playing. End of the day, I don't care. We're dressing up as clones, going into a server, pretending to shoot droids and kill clankers. Like you're role playing. Uh, but to the degree, like everyone does it to a different degree. I would. So this one directly inspired the quote on my helmet, "Duty or death." This was a few years back. I think still under Ghost 2. Uh, we were on the planet of Ragosa, the 3AS map, and I think it was Ragosa. It had to be Ragosa. There was a airstrip that we were assaulting, but Ghost 2 had gotten demolished on our push, so we were dug in the coral. Uh, Badger was down. A bunch of our entire teams were down, and the two team leads were up. Myself and an old member named Rowdy. So me and Rowdy are uh, we're sat there fighting off wave after wave of droids. I want to say Apollo was the Zeus as well. When suddenly we're surrounded by smoke, entire smoke screen, and we hear Apollo in a admittedly goofy fucking uh, commander droid voice. He goes, "Surrender, clones, and you will be spared." Now, I had a CR that I'd been working on at my feet that I was not about to let die. So I yell back towards Apollo. I'm like, "Fuck you, Clanker. Like, you'll have to kill us in order to get us. Ain't that right, Rowdy?" And I look behind me, and Rowdy has his gun on the ground, hands on his head, and he's like, "Fuck that, dead." He's like, "I'm gonna live," and I'm like, "Rowdy, you're a fucking pussy." like, pick up your gun, and he's like, "Nah." And then so Apollo goes, "So be it." The fog clears, surrounded, BX commandos. So I start chucking my nades. I grab any nades I can. I'm going down fighting. I'm uh, blasting through these droids. Rowdy gets taken away. Uh, I end up getting knocked down, of course, and then I hear it, the sound of jump packs coming in as I hear feet landing around me and Spectre clearing out. I hear all the old Spectre dudes, Dastana, Charger, like they're looking around, looking at the bodies, and they come up to me and they're like, "Oh shit, Dead's here," and a CR. They're like, "The CR's fine, work on Dead," and that's when I bleed out. And but the CR survived. He got brought back up by their medic. I think a few of the other dudes who were down also survived. I get reinserted. Lo and behold, uh, we cast the airstrip. So I come walking up to rubble as I see them dragging Rowdy's sorry ass out of the rubble. I'm like, "That's what you get. That's what you get, you traitor." So when we made the swap and I got rid of my old dusty, crusty, like terrible helmet, I added duty or death because it's probably my favorite memory or one of.
Man, that is, for lack of better words, fucking awesome. That's wicked, man. That's rad.
I wish I had a GeForce card at the time so I could record it, but I didn't. I was still running off my integrated graphics.
Yeah, I've been around for a good little bit. Not nearly as long as you, mind you, but I've yet to have a cool experience like that. That is just fucking unique.
Yeah, I say like I always say about like helmets and stuff, incorporate things from ops if you can. Like one of my favorite examples, of course, my own helmet. Another one, Jupiter used to have tusks on his helmet, full tusks, and now one of them is broken with text on it that says Z Beast tried, if you know the story of Z Beast. So small stuff like that is like always really cool to me. Like anyone who can incorporate like op lore into their helmet. Like not saying that, everyone has to or like look for that cool moment, but if something happens, then it's like that's really like that's really good. I know someone got ran over by a bantha when they were like a CR, so they put a tire tread on their helmet. Like things like that are just funny and like really good and like it makes it feel like an actual clone. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they're putting their experiences on their helmets.
Yeah, yeah. That's always nice. personally, I'm a fan about role playing myself. I can get really into character. Now, you mentioned this Z Beast guy. Who the fuck is that guy?
I think we declassified the video, but Z Beast was a CR that joined the unit, had no mic, or like just refused to speak, one of the two. Uh, he had a bunch of like kits bashed together, uh, and he he just ended up gunning Jupiter down. Jupiter was trying to like corral him. He's like, Z Beast, Z Beast, Z Beast, you need to get a kit. You need to go this. Can you talk? Like, Z Beast, hey, like, what's going on? And Z Beast just looks at the ground, looks up at Jupiter, and just murders him. Straight on, like, unloads the clip into Jupiter.
Ah,
I do believe we declassified that ages ago.
oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
we did. And meme containments, the killing of Clone Sergeant Jupiter in the pins. You'll have to make it through the SpongeBob era of pins in order to get down there.
Yeah. Speaking of our little Discord channels, you are an avid contributor to the 212 Fridge Drawings channel. So, what is the history behind that channel? Why did it start? And are you some kind of autistic person, or why do you do that?
So, Fridge Drawings was originally uh, it's a Patreon reward tier. I don't know the reward tier off the top of my head, but X amount, you get one fridge drawing. I believe it's a month. I'd have to double check with South on that, but I believe it is one fridge drawing a month. So what you it, it was originally the unit founder had that as a Patreon reward tier, but he never fulfilled it. Like, so when we restarted the Patreon and whatnot, the South made a like effort to uh he made it an effort to like actually make sure that we're actually fulfilling on that. So he opened it up to whoever. When you donate, you can choose a member of company or command staff to make you a fridge drawing. And granted, we do forget, but like I try to get mine done. I don't think I've missed one.
Yeah, so now, sifting through all these drawings, is there one that you remember most, or are they all just kind of blending together? I know there was this one by South. I don't know if I can talk about this, right? But it's some guy called CT Bigness. He's like in a courtroom with Obama, Barack Obama,
Uh,
Martin Luther King, and like I don't know who the fourth guy is, but is he the guy from like Tom Hanks, where they get like boarded by pirates, and the guy's like, "I am the captain now."
I'm uncertain who that is as well. But so the bigness incident was a uh it was a CT in the unit who used a racial slur, uh and the it was like he just used it extremely casually, like he just said it in a channel, like, and kind of kept going about like his day, sort of thing. He claimed that he was like on a Discord call or something, like with his friends, and he meant to say it there, but obviously broke our rules, insta ban. So it was just the absurdity of it, like the absolute like casual nature in which he said it, uh, that it got like among the NCOs and like anyone who was there, it got memed pretty heavily. So obviously the picture in there is prominent black men presiding over the council of bigness.
Fucking ridiculous, dude.
It is. I'll. I don't want to like shift it to like DAs and bands, but like over the years, there's like so many DAs and bands that are just like just super wild. Like another one of the declassified DAs was I say declassified, and it's just we made memes out of their out of the recordings that we had. But one of them was this dude posed as like a 327th member. He's a former member of the 212th. Left the 212th, joined one of the other GARC units, and then posed as like a 91st, some other GARC member. And he was like in fucking like deep cover disguise, and then he pulls out a chain gun and starts mowing down the briefing room. And it becomes like this it doesn't become like a wild goose chase, but like the dude wasn't on the server at the time, so then we have to look at our server logs and we connect the profile like South was doing like the red tape thing, connecting like the or the red yarn thing, connecting like, okay, so this is his Armor 3 profile. We actually have logs of who he is. Like we can connect that back to here, and we know where he went. And like we were able to find the actual culprit, and he ended up getting banned from both units, I believe. But like it just wild, goofy shit. Like it's some of it is like, okay, like we gave them ample chances. They didn't change, so they get banned. Other times it's like they do something fucked, insta ban, like elevate it. And we've had time. I said I don't want to get on DAs and stuff, but there's also another one where this dude just kept rejoining on alts and like changing his name to like different things like haha got me, and South was just banning him with ban messages like you are not welcome here from the Lion King and like different soundtracks. Like, and it got to a point like we had to ban this dude like 30-40 times, and South was running out of songs, so we're like in the in the channel he's like, I need more songs, boys, start sending them links. But like you see like just goofy shit over the years where it's like it's not so present anymore, since I think most people kind of want to participate in the community. But like, man, some of the like bands that I've seen are just like super goofy or super like weird, or like they always try to like people who try to subvert bands also like get caught instantly.
Goofy, huh?
A lot of them are. Some of them are just like genuinely people are being just like fucks, and it's like, okay, we're not going to tolerate that in the community.
Yeah. No, dead. Mr. CL 9931 dead. Being who you are, you probably have lots of wisdom to share. You know, tons of wisdom, as if you were the great library of fucking Athens, or where the hell that thing, Alexandria, I think it is. Before it burned down, of course. I don't know what the hell happened there, but before the library burned down. Now, for all the aspiring little fresh CTs out there, or CRs who are all shiny, don't have any paint yet, or people who may have been in the unit for a long time, or for those who are not even here at all yet, do you have any advice for those people? Some shit that you've accumulated over the years, like, hey, this could be useful.
I'd say like going back to what I said earlier, go try anything that interests you in the unit, stick with something for a bit, and then like shift. One of the prime examples of someone who lives up to this and like has not burned out of the unit and has not like hasn't left the unit is Beetle, if you know who he is. I think he's a CSP now. Uh Beetle has been in the unit for ages. He took over as team leader for Badger, I think after I left Badger Squad. So he's been a corporal, he's been a sergeant, I think he's been a pilot. He's now currently in Foxtrot, he's been in ARF, he's been in ARC. Like he goes with what interests him and like keeps him within the unit. And I think that he is a prime example of if you're not enjoying your current role, there is nothing wrong with switching. I feel like a lot of people in the unit get, like I said, awkwardly attached to the role or awkwardly attached to the squad. Where it's like, well, I feel bad if I leave. I'm kind of abandoning my boys. No, you're not. You're still in the unit. You're not leaving the unit. You're going with what interests you. So I'd say just look for whatever opportunity you want in the unit. Try everything, settle on something for a while. If that's what entertains you, all the way up to like me, I've just got the like itch for leadership. That's all I really like doing. So I just stick it through with leadership. Like I made it up to CL, a rank that didn't even exist when I joined, and that was or a rank that was command when I joined, I think. But like that's my that was my thing. Like I still enjoy leadership to this day. If you go leadership and you're not fucking with it, there is no shame in switching. Like even if you just got corporal like 2 3 months ago, there's always people itching for spots like in leadership. So there's no shame in switching and going and doing what like you feel like doing.
Inspiring words, Dad. Truly just heartwarming. I feel it in my soul, to be honest. There's some nice advice right there. Fantastic, grade A, top shelf. Some real, man, vintage shit right there. Frenchmen all around the world can appreciate that. Now, now, Dad, do you have anything you want to say to the people who are viewing this podcast right now, as we speak, in the future?
Mm.
Listening to our past selves. You have anything to say to those guys or girls? Like, there's like what, 3 girls in our unit? 4, 5, 17?
I don't know. There's a few.
For the ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, Dad, who do you want to? What do you want to say?
uh I don't really have too much else to say besides what I just did. The usual of like if you have anything like any improvements to the unit, like talk with NCOs, like submit a suggestion thing. Like I think there's a big misconception that a lot of the NCOs like don't care, but like we all want the unit to thrive and survive. We do look at things and like I'm not gonna lie to myself. There are some abrasive NCOs and characters within the unit. Well, that's any community, but like you know, just if you have an idea for the community, like reach out to someone, put a suggestion in. If you say you want to be contacted, we'll contact you regarding like if we're taking it on or like if we're not taking on the suggestion, why or why not. Just communicate with leadership and like that's kind of it. Like communication between the unit and different levels. Uh, like I just want to make sure that everyone knows that it is like we do our best to lead the unit in the right direction. It's just a lot of people to lead and a lot of like things that we have in the works that we just can't disclose at some time. So like I said, it's just there's a lot to do and we're like usually and the NCOs like always working on something. Departments are working on things. So uh just trust us and if you would like to see improvements or any changes, like it never hurts to throw a suggestion in.
Of course. Thank you for showing up today, Dad.
No problem.
Your time is very valuable to me. I maybe shaking your hand, maybe. I can't kiss you or anything. I'm a taken man. I'm no whore. You know, and looking over to the
Darn
viewer
it.
now. Okay, staring to your eyes, viewer. Look at me. Look at me. Okay, I'm looking at you. Thank you for tuning in. Sayonara.
Goodbye.